Neve Campbell is not coming back for Scream 6. Now, as a Scream fan, I'm a horror fan, but Scream really draws me in because Scream is mysterious and I love a really good whodunit. But how many times can somebody whodunit to the same person? Now, with a franchise like Scream, when we have the universe inside of Scream, Stab, and we have many superfans in the real world, can't we play along with that in the movies and move along? Now, a lot of people are not willing to let go of Neve Campbell's character, Sidney Prescott. Now, Sidney Prescott has been through her own troubles in the Scream franchise 5 times. I love Neve Campbell. I have a really cool autograph picture from my good friend Molly Golightly, who met her recently and had her sign a really cool picture for me. Check out Molly Golightly's channel. And this is not my main channel. If you want to check out my main channel is Save Robbie. But this is Save Robbie Rants. And I'm going to rant about Neve Campbell because I'm a fan of these movies, but I am sick and tired of the same formula. Love Wes Craven. Think he did a great job. Scream 5 was a really good film, but it was the same formula. So in Scream 6, if we want to see things changed up a little bit, now, of course, we can keep my favorite in there, Gale Weathers. She's a news reporter. She's been through her own troubles in the franchise, her own relationships, but I am ready for Gale Weathers to get back to the nitty-gritty Gale Weathers, who she's always been. So get ready for Save Robbie to rant and gather around.
No chance.
Oh!
No chance. No dance. No chance. No dance. No chance. Give me second chances.
That's so cool!
I won! Yay! Ow! Ow!
Who is Sidney Prescott? Sidney Prescott is somebody who was stalked by her boyfriend and his best friend in the first film. Then she conquered them, and she was stalked by her boyfriend's mother and some random guy on the internet who was on some like serial killer website that she found. It was believable. It was a good sequel. Then we're moving into Scream 3. Scream 3, it was like her brother that did the whole thing, but did her long lost brother who was given up for adoption, was he involved in Scream 2 and the killers in that, or was that just on its own? So in my personal opinion, the original Scream trilogy really actually kind of pisses me off, even though I love all 3 of the films. I love all of the films. But Scream, the reason why I like Scream, not only because it's a whodunit, but Scream is something that's supposed to be more of like realistic horror. And as realistic as it can be that psychotic people can be in the world, it loses that realistic touch when it starts to get into the storylines. And one thing, like even after, like when Scream 5 came out, I was so excited. But I'm like, really, Sidney again? How many times? It loses the Drew Barrymore, Casey Becker effect. That in the middle of nowhere, it's dark, someone's being stalked. And it was scary. And the whole first movie was scary. But then we move into the sequels. There's some daylight kills. There's some kills in the middle of in Scream 3 when Jenny McCarthy gets killed in the middle of daylight in a studio. And then Sidney gets stalked in the middle of the studio. Where are the police? Okay, the police even get killed in Scream 4. So to me, it loses that terror, that realistic, in the middle of nowhere terror. Now, Scream 6 is moving into New York City, and they're filming in Canada right now. It's going to be in a city vibe, which I really hope that they're going to go with a Halloween setting, because that would make it more realistic in a city setting, because then everybody would be wearing costumes, maybe Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Tinkerbell, Ghostface, and it would be more believable for people to get away with something on a night of murders or a couple of nights of murders. But one thing that really made me lose touch, not only with Sydney, but I will get to Neve Campbell's absence in a minute, is even in Scream 5, when they killed Sheriff Judy Hicks and her son in the middle of a small town, when Judy Hicks is pulling up with her sirens on loud in the middle of a small town. Now, it'd be more believable if it was in the middle of nowhere, like Casey Becker's house, but there were other houses around in the daylight, and she gets killed on her front porch. Now, many people would argue and say, oh, well, that just goes to show how ruthless Ghostface is. Really? Really? You think so? Because Ghostface was a teenage girl and a Twitter-pated man who was obsessed with the Stab franchise. I'm not buying it. I enjoyed every single movie, every single sequel, but I really hope Scream 6, with Neve Campbell's absence, gets back to the foundation of the fear in the Scream franchise. Now, many people are like, oh, Neve Campbell, she dipped out because it was only a 2-minute role or whatever. I think Scream 5 could have done perfectly fine without her. I don't think somebody who was victimized and terrorized and started a new family would truly travel back after one of their good friends, Dewey, gets murdered to go back to the same town that she left after she started a family and has children, is pushing a stroller in the movie. I mean, it's not logical. So, in my personal opinion, Sidney Prescott lost all credibility when she went back to that town after she started a family. Now, many people will say, oh, she just wanted to squash it. She wanted to go back and help Gail. Gail could have dipped out. Gail is the host on a TV show. She doesn't need to stay there. Sidney did not need to come back, and she does not need to come back in Scream 6. Now, I don't know what the premise is for Scream 6, but I really hope that they, regardless of the new characters, which I love all of the 4 characters that are continuing on in Scream 6, but there's so many things that you can do with Scream, period. They have started a franchise within the movie, the Stab franchise. And imagine everything that you can do with that, even going on to other storylines, obsessive fans, Manson type gang stalkers that are obsessed. There's so many different things you can do. Sydney does not need to be involved. Neve Campbell is wonderful. She's a great actress, but she is not needed anymore. Gail Weathers, I love her. She's my favorite character. She's not even needed. But I would hope that in Scream 6, after everything she's been through, that she gets back to, being Gail Weathers and the reporter. I really haven't enjoyed her character in 4 or 5. It's not the Gail Weathers that I liked. I like her getting down to the nitty gritty. I like Gail Weathers being selfish. And you may not like this, but I would like for Gail Weathers to be the mastermind of everything. Now, maybe that's shooting a little bit too far, but in all reality, she's always been a very selfish character. And I would really like her to get back to being selfish. Now, a lot of people think she's going to die in Scream 6, but I would like for her to have some sort of, pay if you do this, pay if you do that. And I would really like if they intertwined all of the killers from the past movie to make it all make sense, why all of these people would go after one person or one genre or be obsessed with something. The only way to really justify that is if everybody was involved in some sort of gang or group or cult. And I know Wes Craven wanted to do that with Scream 3, and I think it may be copying what he had, but if they really want to honor what he was going for, and they really want to make things make sense, make a cult. Now, I don't want to spoil things for myself, but make some sort of cult following to make all of the killers intertwined. Because one thing that stands out to me about each Scream film is there was motives, but I'd really like for all of those killers to be intertwined somehow. Even if you possibly want to do a prequel after the sixth one, to make it all make sense. Because it doesn't make sense for all of these different people to be so angry and want to kill and do all this stuff. Was Jill Roberts a great character? Yes, because she was selfish. She was all about herself. But everything else just doesn't make sense to me. And I'd really like for things to make sense if I want to stay interested in this franchise. So with that being said, I am not going to miss Neve Campbell's presence in the new film, and I would love for new characters to be intertwined. I'm interested to see how they bring Kirby into Scream 6. Now, I hear a rumor that she's going to be a college professor. Please do something scary. Please do something that is completely off the formula of every Scream movie. Maybe even reveal a killer in the beginning. Do something that is going to shock your audience. And you could really continue with the Scream series forever if you want to, and it doesn't even have to involve the same characters. Because in all reality, we see a lot of people in real life that are obsessed with the Scream movies. So play with that. Play with the idea of the obsession of movies and horror movies and killers, and branch off into new characters, different directions, and how movies really affect people. I'm really enjoying, I'm not really a huge part of the Scream community here on YouTube, but I follow like Killjoy Jake and a bunch of other people that cover this topic. And I often disagree, and I don't want to speak up because I know people are passionate, but I'm passionate about being scared and surprised. Please do not give me what I'm comfortable with. Do not give me the same formula of people, characters, killer reveals. Shock me, throw me off my ass, and surprise the hell out of me. Because I do not want to be expecting what is coming. So with that being said, I'm sorry, but Sydney, you will not be missed. I do look forward to all 4 of these characters and see where they go. But hell, kill them all. Kill them all in the movie. Surprise the hell out of us. Start fresh and move on. That's all I have to say. Sorry if I offended you, and whatever. Goodbye.
No chance.